Hey everybody, Sloppy Joe here. Hey, thanks for joining in, taking the time to click on this video to view. I'll try to keep it short. One of the things I do want to work on in this kind of next round of videos is working on shortening things up and really keeping it concise, to the point, and trying not to carry on too much because I know I have a tendency to do that. So that all being said, I hope you're enjoying your summer. Thanks for tuning in wherever you are in the world, whether in the United States, Europe, Australia, Asia, wherever you're at, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you'll get something out of this video. So other than that, it is summertime here in the Seattle area. It is hot. It's terrible. I am not a summer person. Personally, I would love an endless winter and traveling around and skiing constantly all over the world. That's what I would rather be doing than being out in 80 and 85 degree heat. But that's a secret. It never ever gets hot and sunny in Seattle. It's always raining, so don't come here. It's terrible. It's awful. It's muggy, or not muggy. It's gray and rainy, and it's always raining, so don't come to Seattle. It's never ever sunny. Don't come. So that all being said, I got a chance to get out and do a little bit of shooting recently. And I had a chance to just kind of clean my barrel, but I haven't had a chance to lubricate. And it got me thinking, what's a good video to make would be how to lubricate your AK pattern rifle. Now, this is my good old tried and true and well-used SGL-21 7.62-39. This is my first AK and my beloved AK. I hadn't shot it in a while, and I finally had a chance to get out and put a couple hundred rounds through it. And I just cleaned the barrel out, but I hadn't really lubricated anything. So I said to myself, you know, I'm going to do a video, because I know one thing I run into with people when you're talking about the ongoing ridiculous debates of ARs, AKs, this, that, the other thing. A lot of guys say, well, you know, AKs are great. And this is usually the misinformed or the people that don't own AKs. But they say, well, you don't have to lubricate them. You don't have to oil them. You don't have to do any of that stuff. And yeah, you could say that for any type of rifle or any type of machine. But over a certain amount of time and under a certain amount of load and work, the machine is going to break. And that's the same is said for any kind of rifle, pistol, whatever. So keeping them well lubricated is a great idea for the life of the weapon, the workings of the weapon, to keep it running smooth, efficient, functioning, all that great stuff. Not to mention that a lot of rifles are almost small investments. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't necessarily want to take something that's worth $500, $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 and run it dry, especially metal on metal. And I just wouldn't do that, because that's the same logic is drain the motor oil out of your engine and then go drive it around and see how long it lasts. It's a silly concept to say you don't have to oil a machine. This is just a machine. That's all this is. It's just a very simple, basic machine. So, that all being said, yes, you should lubricate, you should oil your weapons, whether it be an AR, an AK, a pistol, a revolver, whatever it is. They should all be lubricated. So, what we're going to talk about is how to lubricate one of these. And I'm going to talk specifically as well about what I think my personal best lubricants are. I know you can go to the gun shop. You run into a lot of things that come in little bottles, and they cost $5, $10, $15, $20 for these lubricants and things like that. And I'll tell you, the best things that I've ever come across and have always used, and I know a lot of people do use for lubricating, is just good old motor oil and or grease, automotive grease. It's really something that not a lot of people, or a lot of people do use, don't talk about, or it's things that people, they get sold on these ideas that they have to spend more money on oils and lubricants than they really have to. So this is just a bottle of, this is just Castrol GTX 2050. I have a bottle of this laying around that I use specifically for rifles and pistols. I like the heavier weight. Don't worry about the brand. This isn't a brand thing. You could use Pennzoil, whatever it is. It doesn't matter as long as it's brand new out of the bottle oil. You don't recycle your oil. Don't drain the oil out of your car and then say, "Well, I'll use it as a lube," because it's the oil then is now full of contaminants, carbon, all kinds of stuff from your engine that is not good to then rub on the inside of your rifle. Not good stuff. So, good old motor oil. Great stuff. It's cheap. That's the thing. A quart of oil will last you years, and it costs $5-6. You can use synthetic as well. It doesn't matter. This is just what I had laying around for, recently. I bought a bottle for the guns. So that's what this is for. And grease. This is just good old-fashioned grease. This just happens to be Lucas. It's just a heavy-duty grease. Good for wheel bearings, etc., etc. Anyway, high pressure. Let's see what it says on here. High temperature, extreme pressure, irregular maintenance, long-term economy, blah, 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 blah. It's just grease. Good grease will go a long way. A tub like this will last you a long time. Costs $6 or $7. This is Lucas, made in USA, if that matters to you. Hey, as long as it's a good product, use it. It's not going to hurt anything. So, for a combined total of about $12 right here, I've got years worth of lubricants for my weapons. So now we're going to go through and talk about how to apply these to your AK pattern rifle. So let's check it out. Okay guys, so here we are, tabletop. So things you're going to need, depending on your work surface, I would say lay down a towel. This is a dog wash towel, so this has already been used yesterday and left in the sun to dry. So this is a dirty dog towel. So what you're going to need is your rifle. This is unloaded. It is not chambered, etc., etc. So there's nothing in it. I just because I think these look good with mags in them, I leave the mags in them. Anyway, things you'll need is, of course, your motor oil, grease, a microfiber towel, and some Q-tips. Everyone has Q-tips laying around. You can use 1, 4, 10, 20, 100. I don't care how many. They're your Q-tips. Use as many as you feel is proper. And then also, ideally, you'd be wearing some kind of nitrile gloves or some kind of latex gloves, just because you're gonna most likely you're gonna end up using your fingertips to get into places, and you might not necessarily want your hands covered in oil and grease. So that might be something. For this video, I'm going to just do it barehanded because I'm going to. So what you're gonna need to do is break down your AK. So you're going to take out your mag, you're going to pop your dust cover, like so. Remove your spring and your bolt assembly. So now that the rifle is broke down, get the bolt out of here. Why are you doing this to me? There we go. I don't know what was going on there. So anyway, so you got your basic breakdown. If you want to, you can go a step further and you can pop off your the top handguard / gas tube. But as anyone with an SGL 21 or an SGL 31 knows, these are super tight fit and do not come off very easy. So I'm going to leave it on, because we don't really need to worry about cleaning that. So, what we're going to mainly focus on is your gas piston, your bolt, and the innards of the rifle. So, in this case, what you want to do is you want to get the hammer up in the up or fired position. So just do so, press down on it, pull the trigger, and just slowly let that up. And that's just going to allow you to get access to the workings in and around it. So take our motor oil, in this case, just get some oil on a Q-tip, like so. And then you're just gonna lightly coat your gas piston, top, bottom, sides, the full length of it, the front of it, all that stuff. And then what I'll do is I'll just use my finger and just kind of coat everything. Get a good coating in there. Just coat the whole surface, just so it's shiny. And this is even going to be too much. I mean, that's not very much motor oil, and it looks like it's wet. It looks like I just pulled it out of a pot of water. So once you've done that, I mean, what you're going to want to do now is you're just going to wipe it down the excess. You don't want it soaking wet, and just that little bit on the Q-tip was enough to make it look soaked. So you're just going to rub off the excess like so. And you're going to do the same thing on the inside of the rifle. So we're just going to take the other side of this Q-tip, coat it in motor oil, flip the rifle up, and then you're just going to hit your hammer, your springs. Here's the back of the hammer. Hit the front of the hammer. Get down in the mechanism and the trigger. The inside of the safety. I mean, just anything that moves on a pivot or slides against something, you just want to give it a light coat of oil. I mean, and then especially get in and around the battery, down at the barrel. Get in there. Just get a little bit of motor oil. I mean, not a lot. Just give it a light dab. Get it in there with your finger. Don't be shy. And just rub it around. Get it in there. You can use another Q-tip if you want to do this. You can use 20 Q-tips. Like I said, it doesn't matter. The point is that you're getting lubricant on all the working mechanisms. And then you're just going to take your microfiber and just kind of get off the excess. You don't want it. You want to leave it shiny but not look like it's soaking wet. So that's all there is to that. And same with the barrel, or the bolt, I should say. So we'll just get a little bit more motor oil. And we're just going to give this a swabbing of that. Work the oil into the metal, like so. And then just get the excess off. So that would be basically all you really need to do to lubricate these parts. You can go a step further, especially with the bolt inside of the piston rod, and you can use some of your grease, and you can kind of grease up the bolt a little bit if you like. And again, less is more, and a little goes a long way. You do not have to completely soak this thing or totally go crazy with the amount of grease. Just a little bit will do you. And just get it in on all the little surfaces and all the areas that move and rub. And after you fire your AK enough, you'll see where the rub spots are. You're going to see where the metal and metal contact is, and you're going to know, okay, that's where I need to kind of really focus the attention. So that's all there is to that. And I still have a whole bunch left in my fingertip. So that is good to go. So now we have a oiled and greased bolt and an oiled and greased piston tube. So these technically are ready to go back in the rifle. The only other thing you really need to hit on the inside of your rifle is you want to hit the rails. And these rails right in here where your piston, where it's riding along. So with that, I would say I'll take a little bit, or take a Q-tip, a little bit of, no, that's even too much, wow. There we go. A little bit of grease, and you just want to get it underneath and on top of the rails. So just underneath the rails, on both sides, and on top of the rails, just like so. And like I said, use your finger. Don't be afraid. Get in there. Just kind of give everything a light coating of grease. And if you feel you need to add a little bit more, feel free. And that's really all there is to this. So, make sure we get that. Cool. So, that's all there is to it. So, now that we have oiled and greased the major working components of the rifle, we can now basically just throw it back together. So, all you're going to do now is drop everything back into place. And then with your spring, your recoil spring, these like to be these like to have a little bit of oil on them as well. It helps them work a little bit more efficient. So all you need to do with that, like anything, just you can do this a few different ways. I'm doing it the less messy way, but just take a Q-tip, soak it in oil, just get it on the spring itself, get it on the workings, and then just use your fingers and just get the oil in the crevices, just get it across the surface, and that'll just help it work and move and do its job a little bit more efficiently. And that's all there is to that. And then with that, this can now just be reinserted. If I can do this, I'm doing this left-handed and I'm right-handed. There we go. And your top cover, that would just go back in place. But as you can see, we haven't gone crazy, we haven't gone buck wild. It's not dripping and oozing and soaked in grease and oil. It's just been lightly oiled. That's all there is to it. So from here, all you would need to do is you just, actually, you know what, since this is off, let me swing this around so you can see. It's all very nice and smooth. That's really all there is to it. So from here, all you would do, just pop your dust cover goes back on. Test fire the weapon. It's all good. You could even go a step further. What I like to do is, because of course there's always a wear mark here on the side of the receiver from the safety. I like to put a little dab of grease in that channel, the channel of paint that then opens up, just so the safety has a slicker surface to work against. And that's going to rub off real fast, but at least for the first few times I use it, the safety is going to work a little bit better. But that's all there is to it. Easy as that. So that is how you lubricate your AK pattern rifle. This is the same setup I use on this, on my Yugos. I use the same. Deal. I do the same thing. This is my Bulgarian milled. I do it the same way on this. They all run fine. I've never had any malfunctions. Nothing like that. So, I mean, that's really all there is to this. You don't have to go crazy with the $20 lubricants or anything like that. Just some basic, good heavy-duty grease and just some good, clean motor oil is all you need. And just a couple basic things, Q-tips, your fingertips, and that's it. And that's really all there is to it. This is done. This is ready to go in the safe and just sit there until I fire it again. So that's all there is to it. If you have any comments, questions, please ask away, whatever. But this is very basic stuff. Like I said, no preference that I have on greases and oils. This is kind of your own thing. Whatever you like to use. I'm just saying you don't have to spend big money on lubricants to keep your rifles well taken care of. So that's it. If you have any comments, questions, ask away. Otherwise, thanks for taking your time, guys, to view. Again, you know, this channel is just, it's a hobby, it's a plaything. It's just something I like to do, to throw information out there. Any support you can give, hey, subscribe, like, whatever, it doesn't matter. Any little bit, any kind of feedback helps. So that's it. Stay safe, guys and girls. Get out there, have some fun. We'll talk to you later.